Hi guys, how are you guys doing? How are we all doing today? You guys can answer in the chat. I think our chat's on. You answer in the chat. You guys can unmute yourselves. Are we doing okay? Having a good time in our second quarter for most of us, for a few of us at least, of school.
Before we respond, I just want to thank those of you who have done it already, but once again, this will be recorded. So if you're not comfortable being recorded, please turn your camera off. And we also request that you change your name to that of your chapter. Yeah, that's all for now.
In a minute, we will stick that Google form link into the chat. If your teacher has promised you activity points for coming to this webinar, then please sign up on that Google form. Also, if you came solely for the Chick-fil-A gift cards, which I wouldn't blame you for, then you'll also want to fill out that form because there will be 2 opportunities to win it, and one of them is just through signing in, and we'll have a raffle there. So we just stuck that link in the chat, and it'll again help you get any activity points that you want or that you were promised for coming, because we'll tell your advisor that you came here, and you'll also be entered into our raffle for one of the gift cards. Man, you guys, I think all of you guys are Sheldon. That's awesome.
That's
Rapping over here. Do you guys, what schedule are you guys on? Do you guys have all your classes right now? Are you guys on block, or what's up with that? Feel free to type or unmute yourself, whichever one you feel more comfortable with. Do you guys have all of your classes right now? You guys are online, right? Because we're in a quarter system. I'm going to Elk Grove and we have a quarter system, so I only have 3 classes right now because we're still in traditional. Ah, so we got a quarter system going like us.
How do you guys feel about that? Because I also go to Elk Grove. I'm on the quarter system, and I do like the getting out earlier thing, but I'm not really keen on the whole not having ag for half the year, you know? Also, side note, if you're afraid to unmute yourselves, we're not recording yet just because we haven't started the presentation. So if that's holding you back, don't let it.
Okay, we're getting a few other people, and we have a Liberty Ranch FFA member. Hey, Elizabeth. Thank you so much for keeping your camera on. Feel free to keep it on if you're comfortable being recorded. But can you please change your name? Because we can't post it on YouTube if we have actual names other than us officers. But thank you for keeping your camera on. And if you're just entering, please turn off your camera unless you're comfortable being recorded, which is going to go onto our YouTube. And change your name to that of your chapter. So I would be Elk Grove FFA. You can see Sheldon FFA is repping their name quite a bit. And sign in on the Google form that is in the chat box right now, both to be entered and get any activity points that your advisor may have promised. And also you'll be entered into the raffle to win one of our gift cards. And we just put that link back in the chat.
We had a Sacramento Sheldon FA member comment that it sucks we don't have FA all year, and I totally agree. Like, as an officer,
yeah.
communicate with people because they're not in their class, and like you can't blame them. They just don't know, and it's just, it's a whole hot mess, you know.
So we have a lot of time now, since it looks like most of us have a limited number of classes. Have you guys been doing anything fun? Just working around the house or doing, anybody have cool jobs that you guys are doing? Or anything at all? Feel free to respond in the chat or unmute yourself and just talk to us. I have been taking care of my uncle's dog for the past while. I go there every day after school. And my uncle doesn't know it yet, but he actually belongs to me now. He's a cute little border collie. Big old fluffy ears. So that's been the highlight of my days. Anybody else done anything fun? Feel free to type it up in the chat, unmute yourself. Oh, yeah, you're about to go, sorry. Can you talk? Hey Griffin, thank you so much for showing up. If you could please change your name to, okay, thank you, Sacramento Sheldon. Man, Sheldon has a bunch of people here today. So yes, if you just came in, please keep your camera on, only if you're comfortable being recorded for YouTube, and change your name to that of your chapter for liability purposes. And make sure to sign in on the form that's in the chat to ask any questions that you have coming in, to receive any activity points, and to be entered into the raffle for our Chick-fil-A gift card. So it sounds like you don't have very many fun jobs. What classes do you guys have that you guys like? Is there any fun electives? Oh, go ahead.
Okay, I'm in ASB leadership and ag leadership, and I'm also taking ag bio. So those are some of my favorite classes.
So you have some good classes right now. This is your easy quarter.
I have them all year.
Oh, well, we still have good classes. That sounds like a really fun year.
Yeah, 2 leadership classes is really nice.
I can imagine. You just get to do the fun part. You don't have to do any homework. Anyone else in any kind of leadership or officers or anything like that? Again, thank you so much, you guys, for coming and wanting to learn more about SAEs and FFA. If for everybody who just came in, please make sure if you're okay being recorded for YouTube, feel free to turn your camera on. We'd love to see your faces. If you're not comfortable with that, please turn it off, as this will be recorded and posted to our YouTube. Please also change your name to that of your chapter. For example, Elk Grove FFA, or you can see quite a few examples of Sacramento Sheldon. And please sign in on the form that's in the chat so that we can get you any activity points, so that you can ask any questions that you have coming into this, and so that you'll be entered into the raffle that we'll be having at the end of this webinar. Thanks for turning your camera on, Austin. Although, can I please have you change your name to that of your chapter, because we cannot record your name, unfortunately.
Yes, and we are not recording yet. You can still talk to us. It's okay. I'm pretty excited about this Chick-fil-A raffle. I actually did go to Chick-fil-A yesterday. It was a pretty good time. I got a little lost, but don't worry, I did find it eventually. Always okay. I get lost quite often. I ended up in a gas station, but it was okay. We figured it out.
Do we have any other Chick-fil-A lovers out here? What are you guys' favorite fast food places? Feel free to type them in or say them. because let's see, mine is probably In-N-Out. Although, because it's just like a next level of fast food. It's like a different category. Or it's pretty close to, but not quite there. It's Chick-fil-A. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know if it counts as a fast food, but I'm a big fan of Jamba Juice. I mean, it's got a drive-thru in most places, so maybe that counts.
I think it does. I think it's good enough.
And they do make those smoothies pretty quick, so I think we can count it.
It counts as fast.
The fruit, it's made out of food. There's not that much of a difference. Ooh, we've got a comment from a Sheldon FA member saying Taco Bell and In-N-Out. We've got two different ranges on quality of fast food there, my friend.
I like those like freezers from Taco Bell. Those are really good. I forgot what they were called, but those are top tier.
I know what you're talking about. Very good.
If there's one thing that fast food places can get right, it's their sweets. Like regardless of their food, generally their fries are generally pretty good, but their sweets, like the McDonald's McFlurries, so good.
That's a good question. What is the best fries? If you want to comment that, I'm very curious to see what you guys think. Personally, I think it's McDonald's, but I want to see.
Chick-fil-A is so much better.
Wow, Sam, it looks like you are winning in the chat. Oh, I have a few more McDonald's people out there, though.
We should throw up a poll.
You can't beat that waffle fly, can ya? McDonald's and Chick-fil-A, I mean, we're playing both bases. I get it.
We definitely need to throw up a poll. Chick-fil-A versus McDonald's.
Yeah.
Now, when you're talking about longevity, though, Chick-fil-A definitely is better because once a McDonald's fry gets cold, you're not eating it.
Personally, I think it's fabulous cold, honestly.
It also tastes the same after 10 years. Don't ask how I know that.
I also love flat Sprite, so I don't know if my opinions is valid there. I like to let the McDonald's Sprite go flat. I think that's delicious. So.
Sprite cranberries where it's at.
Same with Chick-fil-A, that you'd eat it or that it's not great. Oh, alrighty. We've got a poll going on here. Okay. Okay, In-N-Out fries aren't as good as Chick-fil-A, but when you dip them in a milkshake, it is high quality. That's all I'm gonna say.
I feel like I can't answer this poll because I've never had Chick-fil-A fries. Obviously, I'm missing out on something.
You've got to just sample all the fries.
Yeah, I'm so sorry for you, Allie. I'm very sorry about that.
They're animal fries? Oh, that is gonna murder your gut. Oh, those things are brutal.
We have a question, Disney or Universal? Real fast before we get started. I'm gonna go Disney all the way.
Well, the Sacramento Sheldon member who has never had Chick-fil-A should educate themselves. And it looks like Disney's winning by a landslide in the chat. Which, as someone who's only been to Disney and never been to Universal. Actually, I have been to Universal, but very briefly. Definitely Disney.
All right. On that note, I think it's time to begin our presentation for today. So good afternoon, everyone. I'm Abigail Jacobson, and I'm your SAC Section Treasurer. We're so excited to welcome you to Sacramento Section FFA's second ever virtual event. Today, our officer team will be delving into the ever-complicated world of supervised agriculture experiences, or SAEs. SAEs are a crucial element of agriculture education as they provide students with the opportunity to develop personal growth, career leadership, and career success. Please don't forget to sign in via the Google form linked in the chat so that you can earn credit in your ag classes that promise it, as well as enter a raffle for a Chick-fil-A gift card. We'll have another gift card that will be awarded to the winner of our Kahoot game at the end of the webinar. The winners will both be announced at the end of the presentation, and you must be present to win. Now, before we jump right into this presentation, let's begin by learning a little bit more about the projects of our Sacramento Section Officer team. I'll start. Once again, my name is Abigail Jacobson, and I'm your sectional treasurer. A project I've been doing ever since I joined FFA is an agri-science research project. My freshman year, I conducted a social systems experiment that compared the familiarity of agriculture science students and general science students with the California Life Science Standard. A test was administered to both groups of students, and their results were compared. My sophomore year, I conducted a food products and processing system project that analyzed the effect of different fermentation temperatures on the final sugar content of wine. This was done in collaboration with Peltier Winery and Lodi Vintners, both of which are commercial wineries located in Lodi, California. You can see a picture of Peltier Winery's fermentation process in my collage, in which grapes are being dispensed from a harvest truck into a destemmer. Another project I've conducted throughout my entire FFA experience is my market lamb project, in which I raise and sell market lambs at the Sacramento County.
Hey, Abby, I think he glitched out for a second.
Okay.
Stopped hearing you after you said introduced market lambs.
I am so sorry for that. Can you hear me right now?
Yes.
Okay, so sorry. I'll begin once again. My food preservation project is one I've conducted after the summer of my freshman year. I made a variety of jams, jellies, and sauces to enter into the California State Fair. And my final and most time-consuming project that I've had is my equine entrepreneurship project. I've been riding horses since I was 7 years old and began logging those hours in my record book at the start of my freshman year. I lease and show a gelding named Jacob in dressage, as well as another mare named Tivoli. Dressage is an English discipline of horseback riding. You'll be able to see a picture of me riding Jacob at the top at Leaders League finals and me riding Tivoli at the bottom.
Hi guys, I'm Sam Albiani. I'm a junior in high school and I am your Sacramento Section secretary. So I have a wide variety of SAE projects. My first and biggest is market turkeys. I raise and sell market turkeys at the Sacramento County Fair and the California State Fair, and I sell them through a business called Sam's Fair Turkeys. Look me up on Facebook. But I have a business called Sam's Fair Turkeys where I raise them year round. So for Thanksgiving, and I also sell off the birds from county fair and state fair that I didn't show. I've also done an agri-science project for my past 2 years in FFA. My first one was a turkey feed trial where I compared animal-based protein and plant-based protein and their effect on turkey growth. So I just measured a few different measurements on my birds over 8 weeks. My second one was a social systems survey where I did a survey on just on consumer preferences and what they're looking for when they're buying poultry. So labels, price, things like that, and how it affects their decisions. By the way, if you are going to do a survey, I would suggest using Google Forms because they do a super good job at collecting your data. And I use SurveyMonkey and it costs money, but did just as good a job as Google Forms would have. So that's a trick for you guys. I also do food processing and preservation, which Abby talked about earlier. I made a few different jams and jellies and showed them at the California State Fair my freshman year. I also raise market rabbits and show rabbits, which I show in showmanship breeding and market at the Sacramento County Fair and the California State Fair, and will sometimes bring around the state for a few different shows. I also sell my extra ones to some local restaurants. My final SAE is showing breeding lambs. We have a friend who's a lamb breeder, and I show one of his lambs every year in showmanship in the breeding class at the county and state fairs. So as you can tell from that, there's a lot of different variety in what you can do in terms of your SAE projects.
Alright, hey everyone, my name is Tay Lopez. I'm currently serving as your sectional president. Now, during my first 2 years, I had two different agri-science research projects. The first one was testing the varying effects of pH levels on peppers. This including having a soil that was a control, an acidic soil, and an alkaline soil. My second project focused on the effects of varying nutrients on spinach plants, which you could actually see right there mid-process. In my junior year, I had a welding apprenticeship for a few months, and after that ended, I was able to gain the position of barn manager at Scott 3 Show Horses. Right now, just some of my duties include cleaning the barn, performing any needed maintenance, and helping prepare and tack the horses for their training.
All right, so I'm Ben, and I own a business called High Caliber Genetics. I have 4 sows, and I'm hoping to get 2 more this winter. I breed them and sell their piglets to 4-H and FFA members to take the fair. You can scan the barcode right there, or I'll drop the link in the chat. I have been working on my website the past couple days, so it says it's sketchy and that you shouldn't join it, or you shouldn't go to it, but that's not true. You definitely should. You can also follow me on Facebook and Instagram to view more, because it's a big project and I don't have time to delve into all of it. But I also take 2 of the pigs that I've bred and take them to fair to show. So that's pretty much it.
Hi, I'm Trevor Denier, currently serving as your Sacramento Section reporter. So my first SCs that I started doing was racing and showing dairy cows and heifers. I've been showing at the Sacramento County Fair for almost 10 years now. Ever since I was able to start, I started in 4-H. And last year, I started a dairy calf operation where I started in March of having 5 calves, and then later expanded to over 20 calves, all in top superior genetics. And the new SEs that I'm starting this year include the black soldier fly, which is basically organic waste management through a specific type of fly, using food waste from my own home as the way to work on my SE project. And then I'm also starting an agriculture podcast. I currently don't have any pictures of that. However, all my assets just came in the mail yesterday, so I'll be starting that soon, talking a wide range of agriculture topics. And the last SE that I will be starting is a layer operation or a upholstery operation. On the top right, you can see a large-scale layer operation. My goal is to have a smaller operation compared to that, but still replicating industry.
Alright, hey everyone, my name is Allison Jolly and I am currently serving as your SAC Section Vice President. So currently I am operating 4 different SAE projects. My first one being pretty much anything horse related that I do. I own a senior horse who requires a lot of care. You can see her smiling at us on the top right. Through her, I have gained a lot of experience, especially within the field of equine medicine, which has kind of helped me to decide what I want to do with my future. Another thing that I do is I lease a show horse and I show her in a lot of all-around Western classes. The second SAE project that I'm currently operating is my egg production project. This is the longest project that I've had, and if you look at the bottom left of the pictures, you can see a slightly embarrassing baby picture of me showing my very first chicken. I sell these eggs to local family friends, and it's given me a lot of financial experience, especially when it comes to trying to figure out what I'm going to do when it comes to buying feed and how that will correlate to the income I earn from selling the eggs. Finally, I have a dairy goat project. I currently have 2 does and a wether. I am hoping to breed these 2 does this year. And lastly, my animal care business, which is my most recent SAE that I've started. I'm mostly focusing on taking care of larger scale farms that own animals that I have a lot of expertise in. Alright, so getting started. SAE projects are an amazing opportunity for students to be able to get experience in different areas of the agriculture industry in their own backyard. In addition to gaining experience, SAE projects can help students create connections and opportunities with local agriculture industry experts. There are 4 main types of SAE projects: research-based, entrepreneurship, foundational, and placement. These different options will all be gone into with more depth over the next few slides. Finally, as FFA is an intercurricular organization, SAE projects are part of your grade. This means that it's important to keep on top of your record book and put lots of effort into your SAE projects. Now I will hand it off to Sam to go into more depth about some different types of SAE projects.
So the first two types of SAEs, or supervised agricultural experiences, that I'll be going over are research-based and entrepreneurship. A research-based project uses a scientific method to research an ag-related topic. So this is most often seen through the agri-science fair, which is done on a local level. It can be shown once your board is complete. You can do it at different field days around the state. And there's also a state competition, and if you win your category in that, you can move on to the national competition. So agri-science is super diverse. Up on the top right of the screen, I have a picture of a member who did well in their category with next to their board. And you can kind of see on the right another board after that. So you just research on any of 8 different categories. It can go from studying wine to doing a feed trial like I did, to I know someone who tested how fans affect the temperatures in barns. So any wide range of topics. The second one is one of the other most common ones, which is entrepreneurship. This is any agricultural business. So that could be mowing lawns, it could be at-home fair projects. My entrepreneurship SAE is my turkeys. So anything where you make money or you could make money, and generally where you spend it, that in any kind of business frame is an entrepreneurship SAE. A subcategory of that that's very common is the school-based enterprise. This is where you raise an animal or you do your SAE at the school. So raising an animal at the school farm for the county fair is a very common example.
Now, the next variety of SAE projects is the foundational SAE. Now, this is typically going to be for newer members to an organization who have multiple interests in different fields of agriculture. They can help students either gain an interest in an industry that they didn't know about, or maybe even deter them away from an industry that they thought they may have enjoyed. These are hands-on experiences that allow you to gain insight that you simply can't find on the internet. These job shadows and experiences are going to help give you knowledge and act as a stepping stone into other SAE projects, such as placement SAEs. Now, placement SAE projects are basically work done for others. They could be either paid or unpaid. They help you as members reach certain goals in your life and develop workplace skills that are going to forever aid you, whether you go into the agricultural industry or not. Now, the opportunities available to you really depend on your area and your willingness to find certain work. With both projects, you're going to grow, develop, and earn skills outside of the classroom. With paid, you're going to be able to have an income, though unpaid placement might work for you better because their schedules are usually less intensive. There are some few examples on the screen right there. They're both really great options, and you should really focus on whatever works best for you.
All right, so now for financing opportunities, SAE grants. All right, this is a really, really cool opportunity. You can click the blue link that will take, or scan the blue link, and here, I'll send this one here. This will take you to the actual, what do you call it, all about it. And then if you scan the yellow link, that will take you to the actual application itself. They are $1,000 to start or expand your SAE, and they're open now and until November 15th. Grant recipients will be announced in mid-December, and I'll drop these links when I'm done. You can also do personal fundraising, so you can go around to businesses to try to find somebody to sponsor your SAE. Some jobs pay for yourself, such as having an animal affair or selling vegetables produced from a garden, or anything you produce you can sell and make money through your SAE. You can also get internships or jobs, such as working or having an internship from a local ag business. And yeah, she just dropped the link, so you can click those and those will take you right there.
I'll be talking about SAE opportunities and benefits. SAEs provide you with plenty of FFA opportunities. First, we have proficiencies. There are over 40 different proficiency categories to choose from. Proficiencies start at the chapter level and go on to the national level. One member from our section, Cutter Cates, won state proficiency in outdoor recreation. His SAE included working at Fog Willow, which is a friendly and safe farm where you can celebrate agriculture. Next, we have Sectional Project Competition, which is this year and will be held over Zoom. Talk to your advisor about applying. Applications are due soon. Greenhand, Chapter, State, and American degrees all have an SCE component required to earn said degree. For the American degree, you must earn at least $10,000 and productively invested $7,500, or earn and productively invested $2,000 and worked 2,250 hours in excess or scheduled class time. SCEs also help you with California FFA scholarships. Benefits of doing an SCE. Gain new understanding of topics in agriculture. This can help you write a speech or on a separate topic, for example, or use as an example. Experience working in agriculture can help you set a foundation on time management using funds properly. You practice communication skills by successfully explaining what you do on AET or the Agriculture Experience Tracker, or to anyone that asks you. Lastly, you're opening up yourself to new things that you may never thought you'd ever have done before. Here are some great examples of unique SCEs that you can find on the SCE video library on National FFA's website for inspiration. If you ever got stuck on having ideas, this can really help. The one to the left is a student the student on the left has an SCE in related to drones to survey farmers' crops and reports his findings. The next one is a market hog that you can show at the fair, or you can start an entire operation besides just market hogs. After that, we have a student that makes wooden body pencils in the school shop. Lastly, these three students on the very right wanted to use the school garden to grow crops to sell products, including salsa. Now we will watch a video of the American Star Farmer from California describing how big your one SE can go.
Hi, my name is Willis Wolf, and I'm from the El Capitan Merced FFA chapter in Merced, California, and I am a finalist for the American Star Farmer. My SAE is running commercial goats and forage. So currently I have 600 commercial does, 20 bucks, and have 300 acres of forage, which I make hay every spring. My day-to-day responsibility is walking through each pen, checking on every goat, make sure goats aren't getting sick, be able to treat them, taking care of the well-being of the goat, very important. People like to say that I like, goat addiction. The reason why I raise goats is not only to provide food to the consumer, but it's also for the goat. They're wonderful creatures. They each have their own personality. One of my greatest challenges would have to be the goat itself. The goat that I started off with was not the greatest goat. They didn't do as well as I'd like them to do on irrigated pasture or winter forage. Just recently, last couple years, I've been crossbreeding goats between Boer goats, Spanish goats, and now Kiko goats to develop a goat in my mind which would gain well on pasture and being able to take care of itself and have less labor involved. I've already seen the benefits of the first crossbred kids that I had. I've already seen the difference between just straight Boer goats and the implications it had on not just my operation, but several people I've sold some goats to. They already can tell the difference. The greatest thing that I've learned with my project, and I'm still learning constantly, is time management. I'm constantly underestimating how long things take. If it's either processing goats or feeding goats or whatever, between work and school and having a social life, being efficient with your time, especially in this type of project, is very important. What I'm ready for is anything this industry can throw at me. I think I can tackle about any challenge if I put my mind to it.
If Willis wanted to become the President of the United States, he could. If he set his mind to it, he could do it. And I always tell everybody I feel like he can rule the world one day because he's more ambitious and the hardest working kid I've ever met.
Where I see my future and my dream is to become totally vertically integrated, from raising my own feed to raising my own goats, and be able to process that goat and put it on the consumer shelf. Hi, my name is Willis.
Wow, that was a really cool video to watch. But now that we've had the opportunity to tell you a little bit about our SAE projects and also to teach you a little bit more about SAEs in general, we want to know what your SAE projects are. There should be a link In the chat, the most recent link just posted is going to direct you to a Google Jamboard. Here you can add a virtual sticky note on the first page just detailing what your SAE project is. Then on the second page, we'll ask you a question about any help or assistance you think could benefit your project or allow you to become more successful. This is also a space to ask any further questions you have about our presentation or SAC Section FFA in general. You will have about 5 to 7 minutes to complete this now. If you're at all confused on how to do this, you can message in the chat. If not, you just hit the sticky note button on the left-hand side, and a text box will pop up. You can type your answer into there, hit save, and it'll be on the board. Feel free to move it about or change its color however you want. And that's super cool landscaping projects. That's pretty unique. I really like that one.
Alrighty, I'm gonna start reading through some of these. So it looks like there's a few people still working on the what is your SAE slide, and we have a few just around. But let's take a look at some of our questions about SAEs. So the first one is, how many SAE projects are there? So the whole idea of an SAE project is to find what you can do to relate to the agriculture industry. So we just explained the 4 types of SAE projects, but there are infinite possibilities for what you can do as an SAE. So whether that's mowing lawns, making a small business out of that, showing at a fair, having a garden, any number of things can be considered an SAE. And if you have any ideas for what it might be, then you can put those on this board, just on the right side. For if you want confirmation that would work as an SAE project, feel free to put that on the right side of this board. But the whole idea of an SAE is that it's an agriculture experience that you have. So just whatever works for you, and you can confirm with us, you can confirm with your ag teacher. It's just an experience mowing agriculture. Are there any SAEs that can benefit us as FFA members currently rather than future leadership skills? Well, personally, as someone who has a business SAE, or an entrepreneurship one, my business benefits me. It teaches me skills, yes, and it helps me with time management, which is helping me now in school, but it also is a source of income for me in order to have some money just to spend and to reinvest. So really, any SAE that you have generally is a positive experience and can help you both now and later, especially if you're looking for instant, I guess, skills and betterness. You could go for an entrepreneurship SAE.
To build on that, I think they're really enjoyable experiences. Like, I had my horse project. I've had horses since I was 7 years old. I didn't even know it was an SAE project until I joined FFA and I started recording it. So it's something I really enjoy that I've always been doing. And I think what a lot of people don't realize is that they are already conducting SAE projects. They just don't know to record it. And I think that's a really cool part because, you know, SAE or not, I still would be raising horses, and it's been an outstanding opportunity. FFA has given me an opportunity to grow this project and further develop myself within it.
There's another one that says, can you describe the process of SAE grants? Have any of our officers done an SAE grant? But I don't think any of us have done one, but I do know that there's an application process that you turn in and then you get selected for it. So if you do want help with that, I'm sure your advisor can help you. Also, if you want to reach out to us through the sectional Instagram or through an email, feel free to, and we can try to help you out with that.
Typically,
Go ahead.
Typically, along with just applying for any grant, of course, you'll have an application that you will have to put in. I'm not sure if this will be relevant to the FFA SAE grant. However, normally they will also have you submit a timeline, so what you will be using your money for and how you will be using it over a certain period of time. And then you will have a window to be able to get certain tasks done to prove that you're using the money the way that you applied for it to be used.
Thank you, Allie. Let's see, can you describe the process? What was the most fun SAE that we've done? Personally, I really like showing at fair. So any showing SAEs. Also, I really liked my jams and jellies, preservatives, food preservation SAE, because I got to make a bunch of jams with partner, and that was really cool. And then you get to eat the jam.
My most fun SAE is probably my equine project, but I also really loved being able to go to commercial wineries, so that's kind of a hard one.
For me, so for all the SEs, the 3 ones that I'm planning on doing, what I think so far they're going to be my most fun, but what I love thinking about the most is that with all my ideas that I have, it just feels like I'm having so much fun just executing it and being the visionary. Like for my flies project, I'm thinking of going full scale mainstream, and it's just super fun to think of the idea of what if that happens and what if I get that far, and that's something that kind of motivates me.
Me, it is my breeding business. I think that's way more fun than going to fair. As much as I like going to fair, I think it's a lot more fun and a lot neater to help the kids at fair that I've sold pigs to.
I have to agree with Abby here. My favorite SAE project that I currently do will have to definitely be all of the equine activities that I do. I love showing and I love working with my horses, but then I also really enjoy being able to go out into the veterinary field and learn about different procedures and how veterinarians can help to assist horses and horse owners.
I know for me, working as a barn manager has been one of the greatest experiences I've experienced this far in my life. Because when I entered, I had no experience with horses whatsoever. Now, a year later, I'm able to do so many different tasks. I have skills and traits that I never would have imagined being able to possess at this point in my life. And I mean, there's a lot of responsibility that goes into being a barn manager, but at the same time, I thrive off having that responsibility and being able to accomplish my tasks on a daily basis.
Wow, we have quite a few equine people on this team. I see we have some as well on our jam board with our members. That's super cool. It's a connection.
So we have a few more questions that I see that I'll just try to answer real quick so we can move on to a different one. Can these SAE projects benefit you into success for any career? Well, if you're looking for an outside of agriculture career, you'll gain different skills, time management, responsibility, just experience with talking to people or doing a job that can benefit you. So any experience in general can pretty much be beneficial, especially an SAE project. What was the most fun SAE? We did that one. What project? If you didn't do an SAE project during 1 year, how does that affect you? Well, as an FFA member, you should have an SAE. It's part of that 3-ring model that we showed earlier. That was a picture on our intro slide. So it's a major component of FFA. So if you didn't have an SAE, I'd reflect on what you did during the year and see if one of them could be applied as an SAE. Although if you just didn't have one, then you just wouldn't have someone to log, I suppose. It wouldn't, like, then it wouldn't majorly affect you if it didn't affect your grade as a part of your intracurricular experience. Are there any SAEs? Okay, then the most difficult one we've done and the most fun, we have a few, what do we enjoy doing for SAEs? Well, I think we kind of talked about that a little bit. I know that livestock projects tend to be pretty laborious, but any time that you get larger, especially like with Ben's operation, that can be pretty difficult just to stay on top of stuff. And sometimes we'll be having meetings or something and we'll be driving around trying to feed all the animals and stuff. So those can be quite time consuming, but they're always beneficial. And there's generally, if you put in the work, there's a lot of payoff that makes you feel good. Alrighty, let's move on to, actually we're gonna go to the next slide. Is there anything that you'd want us to cover in a future SAE webinar? Could you list some SAEs that aren't about animals or mechanical? So SAEs that aren't about animals or mechanical stuff. So you could work at a feed store. If you guys, other officer, if you guys want to chime with some examples, please feel free to. You glitched out, Abby there.
Yeah, I heard that. Am I better now?
Yes.
Okay, so sorry. It's being very frustrating today. But a great example, I think, is Trevor's podcast that he's thinking of starting. Agriculture communications is a huge field, and that's one where you get to interact with people within the agriculture industry. And so I think that's a really cool opportunity that doesn't involve like animals or plants or things like that. If that's not your thing, that's totally okay. Agriculture business, agriculture communications, all those types of things. There's a lot of opportunities within those, so I encourage you to research more. But the podcast is a really cool idea.
And for more examples, you can look up the FFA manual online, and there's also on, I believe, on both the California and national FFA websites, there are examples of SAEs that are beyond that. You can do them in aquaculture, you could do them, agri-science projects are great because they can be, as I mentioned, there's 8 different categories, which I can't list off the top of my head, but I know that there's technical systems, plant systems, animal systems, there's social systems, there's, I think I said power and structural, but there's just a bunch of different categories that you can research. But if you want more examples, look on those websites. And you can also, I know that my chapter website has a few links to examples. So just do a little bit of digging around to see if your supplies. Also, advisors are great resources to figure out if you have one that counts as an SAE. For going for a grant, does everyone get a little bit of money?
For grants, what happens is that when you apply for it, you have to be chosen. It's a very competitive application process, and if you don't get chosen, then they will not send you any funds. Or if they do, that you will get this, like that set amount of money.
And then the last question we have on here is, can someone do an SAE but take it to the next level without being in school? So if you're referring to, oh yes, in the chat, Ms. Ginoni just dropped a list of ideas for SAE projects. If you're not in school, do you mean, so FFA is intracurricular, so it's run through school. So if you mean by doing a project over the summer, absolutely. If you're referring to right now, if you don't have an ag class right now, try to be in communication with your advisor and see if they can help you out. But I didn't have an ag class last quarter, and I was still able to have my SAE running. If you want to expand on that, if I didn't answer it, feel free to put that on there.
I think I'll also expand a little bit on that question. So by next level, I'm kind of taking that as going a little bit mainstream, or going making it a really big business. Even if you make it a really big business, but you're still in high school or still in the FFA, you can also still be an FFA up until you're 23 years old. So if you're still paying dues and you're technically an FFA still, and you can still log in your hours, and even after you're an FFA, when you turn it into a business, that could be still feasible for you. That's also to answer the question.
Okay. I don't see that sticky note's been updated. So let's go back to the first one and look at some of your SAEs real quick, and then we will transfer back to our main session. So I see some, Abby mentioned earlier, some equine raisers. Landscaping, that's pretty cool. One of my friends does irrigation. He goes around and helps people install irrigation into fields. It's his SAE. We care for chickens and experiment with our habitats. Wow, that's really neat. If you don't already have an agri-science project out of that, it would be really easy to get one out of there. That could do really well, especially if you have a large sample of data. Raising rabbits and yard maintenance. Hey, I raise rabbits too. Raising a market goat, raising animals at home. Oh, another Arabian horse. Chickens and goats. Oh, an agri-science project, growing 10 of the same plants with each having different chemicals added to them and are grown in different ways. Wow. That's pretty neat. That's pretty complex.
Those are super cool.
These are awesome, yeah.
All right, are we ready for everybody's favorite part of today? All right, so now, moment that you've all been waiting for, Kahoot time. If you're anywhere near as competitive as me or my fellow officers, this is something you'll definitely want to participate in. Our meeting ID will appear on our Zoom screen, so you can split screen your computer and go to kahoot.it to join, or join on a separate device. Remember, the winner of this Kahoot will be winning a gift card, so do your best, try hard, answer questions, and we'll announce our winner at the end. Also, if you're going to sign in, please use your real names so we do give the gift card to. That's very important. Trouble joining, please let us know in the chat. We'll be starting. SAE projects are only beneficial to an FFA member while he or she is still in high school.
The Kahoot song's a bopper. Gotta dance to it.
That is false. They benefit you in your future career path. Working at a local stable cleaning stalls for experience hours only would be what type of SAE? Just because you're not going to spend or earn any money. That was a tricky one. Which of the following is not an acceptable SAE? Babysitting. We do not consider children part of agriculture management. SAE projects allow students to apply what is learned in the classroom to the real world. You guys got it. True. 100%. What kind of project would working at the school be? It would be placement because it's a job. So you're going to be earning money, not starting your own business. You're working for somebody else. Which of the following is not one of the types of SAE projects that we covered? It is community. Awesome. Everybody got that one. Now, what does SAE stand for? Perfect. Supervised agricultural experience. Now, creating your own fencing business would be an example of which type of project? It would be an ownership. You're owning your own business as an entrepreneur. Which of the following areas could a student find a good SAE project to pursue? So there's so many opportunities for SAE projects, not limited to any of these. Now, for our last question, which of the following is false about SAE project? And third place, we have Angel. Second, we have Elizabeth. In first place, winning our Chick-fil-A gift card today, Madison. Madison, make sure to check your email so you'll be receiving one or your address and mail you that gift card as soon as possible. Thank you guys so much for participating. That was awesome. Now we have 18 participants, so Miss Juno, you want to set that to 18? That would be awesome. We're going to pick our raffle gift card winner. Here I have a list of everybody who signed up, and she's going to generate a number. We have number 10, and that's going to be Catherine. Catherine, you're going to please, from Liberty Ranch, please check your email so that we can request your address and get you mailed that gift card as soon as possible. Same with Madison, you'll both be receiving a Chick-fil-A gift card. Congratulations, and thank you guys so much for participating today. I'm going to hand it over to Teddy to sign off.
Now, as we end today, we want to thank everyone for attending. We really hope that you as members were able to learn something about SAE projects and the potential they have for us to grow. We really encourage you to look further into the topics we discussed today in order to find out how they could benefit you. You could do this by using some of the hyperlinks in the slides and doing your own research as well. The slides are going to be available on the website, on the Sacramento Section website later today under the Events tab for you to use as a resource. With that, we want to thank everyone again and hope that everyone has a good rest of your day.